have the legendary vocalist Nadir of the infamous Sunset Strip metal band London on the line with Forever Metal. How's it rocking, Nadir?
It's rocking great, my friend. How are you, Lyle? Good to hear from you.
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Just sitting here in Orange County, California, enjoying the weather, and basically, it's a really nice day out here, to say the least.
It's good to hear. Now, from what I hear, there's been a lot of great banter going on, and there's a new, fresh chapter for London on the horizon. Can you tell us what you and London have been up to recently over the past couple of years?
Sure. As you know, London is one of those bands with such a lengthy story that it would take a few hours to cover it all. But within the last few years, I basically was performing under the name Dupriest, to say the least, with my original guitar player from Playa del Rock, Sean Lewis, and playing with other players in the band that were not the original players from that album, Playa del Rock. So I was, trying to put it together where I could have that lineup, because it was the best lineup, I believe, to have London, continue. And so it took me about, to be honest with you, it took me 21 years to put this band back together. And it took me about, that long just to be able to get everybody to go through all their personal life and what happens in your own personal, home and careers and children and just, regular human being behavioral stuff, meaning that, just life itself. So it was never, the right timing to put it back together if I wanted to have, this lineup. So eventually, 2 years ago, I hooked up with my good friend and my drummer, Krieger, as some of you know him as Alan Krieger, and I spoke to him, and I said, hey, how would you like to get back in the original situation we had back in, 1989, 1990 from Playa del Rock, and all that good stuff. And I already had the guitar player in place because he had been playing with me prior to that in L.A. with other shows under the Dupriest flag. And eventually, he was available. And just so happens he was doing a lot of other stuff with the Hollywood All-Stars, which was a cover band type of thing with Carlos Cavasso and Jimmy Bain and Vinny Appice and all these guys. So he says, dude, I'm open, I'm game. So I got him back. And I had a different bass player. So after about a year of bombarding my original bass player, Brian West, being that he was busy with two other groups, he one day called me and says, dude, I think I'm ready to get going. I slowed down on my other groups and what you got going on. So I basically was able to get all of the guys together. And we did our first show headlining at the Roxy Theater on the Sunset Strip about 2 years ago. And we put it together in a period of 2 weeks because they had a cancellation. And, of course, being in London, we always get into these opportunities with some weird, mysterious ways. Things seems to happen with this band. It just follows it. So we were able to get into that, and we ended up with Jimmy Bain on stage, like back in 1987, playing bass with me on stage and jamming, and it was a great night for us. So from that night on, it was so much fun and so much excitement about it that the guys decided that, hey, so what are you going to do? You want us to do this and continue with it or what? I said, well, yeah, let's do it. So we've been going at it, 2 years after not being out and about for, over 21 years. So I hate to make it so long, but I just wanted you to get a spectrum of what's been going on, and I kind of cut it short.
No, that's good you did that because it was pretty funny. It was a segue into the next question. From bands that were back in the day when music kicked ass, they'll come out, eons later, 10 years, 15 years later, there's one original member, and they still kind of hold the flag as this is the band. What London has put together has all the prominent members, back from the day.
Right.
I guess you must.
Yeah. Well, you know what my deal is that I noticed there's an article that I posted and somebody made a comment about the lineup and the originality of how the lineup came about and how it was a different setup when I wasn't a singer and, you know, when there was other singers in this band London back in 79, 80 or something like that. And to be honest with you, at that time, before I came into London, I think that pretty much that was just a fabrication of different things that eventually ended up dissolving immediately and went off to do other things. I mean, you saw how Nicky was gone, you know, Blackie was gone. All the singers that they've had were immediately gone. They weren't even, you know, lasting very long into these lineups. So London was never a real stable situation, even back at the original beginning of it, because Nicky ended up leaving and ended up forming Motley Crue. Blackie ended up leaving and I believe had a band called Sister or Circus or something like that, and then eventually he became Wasp, you know? So, you know, to look at it in this way, it's more, I don't worry about what people think, but it does bother me sometimes that try to smash my band lineups, being that I came in back in '84, and what people don't remember, or some to the hardcore fans is that, you know, nothing was happening in London, and as soon as I joined the band, that same year I joined the band, we had a record deal offer at that time with Shrapnel Records, and we ended up doing a first album immediately. So, you know, this is the original as far as I'm concerned. This is the band that's strong, you know, that stuck it out. And these guys that are in this band have been with me. Well, Brian Wetz has been with me since 1984. And the other two guys, Krieger and Sean Lewis, came in around 88, you know. So as far as I'm concerned, this is the original. There was never any other original. I've always been the singer in London, and I'm the only guy in all the albums and all the videos and all the press and all the releases. So this is the original London as far as I'm concerned, and we'll go with that. You know what I mean?
I think that, you know, there's always going to be haters and naysayers and, you know, people out there that always like to point the negative aspects out. And you're right. You are the original. You are the singer when you came on. That you had a record deal, and that's what matters. When you have a record deal is when it's a band. You know, anything else, playing the club scene and so on and so forth, you know, you've gone through the motions, you've been out there. It's relevant to a certain extent, but as soon as you sign that ink and there is an album released and you're the first one on that album with that band, it is all original. So, you know, like I said, there's always going to be negative people or naysayers, and, you know, you stood the test of time, you know, with everything that you've been through and the Sunset Strip, and, you know, obviously one day, you know, you should write a book and put it out there, and I'm sure it'll go all over the place and viral. But, you know, from what I've seen, there's been a very, very open and warm welcome for London coming back, and that's great to see.
Definitely, definitely a warm sensation all around, and even in Europe at these, you know, two shows that we did, we had a great, you know, reception, and I'm happy to be back, and I'm not going out. I mean, I'm not going down, you know, in any way, shape, or form anytime soon. So I'm here for the long run until I become a full 100% member of the fucking AARP, man. I'm telling you.
Well, your voice hasn't slowed down at all, so it's still very powerful, and it's better than most people that are out there, either in newer or older groups. So it's good to see that you're back, you know, out there and ready to release some new music from what I hear.
Live album. Wait till you hear this album. It's definitely going to surprise you. It's great live production, great new material, and this is just a warm-up album. So I'm looking forward to showing up, you know, what we're all about, and finally just shutting up everything and really, you know, showing them what the deal is with this band, you know.
Now, the new album, is it specifically just live? Do you have partial live and then a couple of the new tracks that aren't live, or is it all live?
That's exactly right. It is live, and it is 7 live songs from 2 different albums, from Playa del Rock and Don't Cry Wolf. And it also includes a brand new track titled Get Back Home. It was written by Brian West and myself. And there's also a rock in Spanish song that is completely out of this world, man. And it's called Tu Cultura, and it's your nation and your culture. It's a very cultural song, but it's really hard rock. So I think you're going to enjoy it, except for the fact that this one is in Spanish. And this is kind of like tapping into other waters to see what kind of response we get out of that. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it'll be positive. So far from what I can see, you are coming to Rock Harvest. You have played some shows, some festivals overseas, and the social media element is growing. So obviously, I think that anything that you guys put out as London will be, have that good reception to it. As far as the title of the album, can you, let us know? I'm sure it's out in releases somewhere, but can you let us know some of the song titles that'll be on there and the title of the live album?
Sure. The album is basically a basic title. It's called London Live. And it was recorded in Nashville, Tennessee, almost a year ago, and it was recorded at 12th and Porter Live through their mobile unit there, and also part of the recording that came from the Grand Ole Opry, because we were doing 2 shows in that same week, which was a great thing for us because we were the first heavy metal hard rock band to perform in the Grand Ole Opry. So it was very
awesome.
Interesting to, well, you know what? Think about this. Imagine we were there more surprised than anything, and their crew, these guys are so well trained and organized that you look down to the ground and the cabling and the monitor setups and everything was just so perfectly tuned and greased up and lined up and everything. And they're looking at us going, are you guys sure you're supposed to play?
That was funny you say that.
We're fucking playing here, so where's the mic?
That's awesome because I had a chance to visit the Grand Ole Opry, I think, in October or November with my family, and it's an amazing facility.
It's an amazing place, right? Well, you can imagine being on that stage and then being in the dressing room. And the funny part about it is that we get to see the dressing room that we used on that new show called Nashville. There's a room number 18 because they're basically all the backstage rooms for the artists have gigantic picks in front of the doors, the guitar pick, and they have numbers on them and names on them. We had pick number 18, and the room was women of country music. So we had the girls' room. So it was kind of interesting.
Well, there's your segue into Ex-Wives of Rock, so there you go.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is that every time I see a commercial, that room shows up for Nashville, Tennessee for that show Nashville. And we're always going, oh, my God, we were right there.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
We were excited.
So,
you know what? It was exciting. It was exciting being at the Opry. I got to be honest with you, and I don't get a boner that easy on stuff. This is that was the big deal for me.
Yeah, it'd be a big deal for anybody. I don't care what genre of music you are. That's a historic venue.
Yeah,
so
just being there was great. The vibe was great. Yeah.
Awesome deal. Now, after the live album, you said you alluded to something you wanted to see the test the waters and feel how the reception is going to be. With that going into it, since you did a new song on the live album, have you kind of written anything as far as maybe going into a full-length album and just prep for the future?
Well, yes. This is the deal, Lyle. What we're doing right now is we're re-releasing Don't Cry Wolf with a whole new artwork and all that. A re-release from back in '87. That's coming out within weeks from now. And then immediately after that, it's the live album with the 2 new songs, boom, boom, boom. In the meantime, that is in the pressing plan. I'm going into pre-production for the next record. You know what I mean? Which is
awesome.
a studio recording. Even though you get 2 new studio tracks on this live album, we'll be doing a full-length studio album after that. So we're not going to be breaking and stopping and seeing what kind of response we get. We're moving right in to doing pre-production for the new album, and so that's definitely it's going to be a done deal. So yes, there will be an album immediately right after that. This live album that we have was produced by London, but it was engineered by the great, Michael Wagner, and we have also additional mixes by Roy Z, who's also part of the whole Rob Halford and Bruce Dickinson crew. We're really excited about all that. You know what I mean? So we're bringing in quality because I think that it's always been an issue with people always making comments and cracks and things like that. And I think that it's time for people to stick their foot in their mouth and just shut the fuck up and listen to the songs and stop being fucking downer debbies and just get over it. The shit is good. Just say it. It's all right. That's it. There's not a big deal. It's okay in London. It's good. It's just get over the negative part of it and give the music the opportunity. Let the music do the talking, as Joe Perry would say.
Now, there's a lot of it out there, and I'm a big 80s metal fan, thrash fan, you name it. And, being around and seeing band members come off, replace them, and, the singers get the brunt of the negativity. Great White had their replacement with Terry, and
right.
Todd Latour with replacing Jeff Tate, and, all this sense of negative banter. It's just like, come on, people. You're going to be the first ones to go to the show and put your, hey, rock on, yeah, but you're the first one to make a negative comment, rather than taking a look.
It always seems to be the case. It's never all the great comments. It's always a negative. But I guess people, what I'm looking at it is as people back in the day that were in the business used to tell me, listen, as long as you're fucking spelling your name right and your fucking name is on there, don't worry about it. So,
hey. Any press is good press, as they say.
That's right. I'm a large believer of that. You know what I mean?
And, it's even when you were in your solo stuff, I mean, the music was great. It was powerful, and it had the passion, it had good hooks. It was, everything. So, going into the transition, you're just kind of picking up where you left off in the first place. And I'm sure you'll have, the London sound compared to your solo stuff, but that's still you. So I think with today's, technology and the history of your vocal skills and the bands and everybody maturing, obviously the music is going to be, a lot better as far as functioning together as a unit, because as you get older, you become more mature and you kind of pay attention to a lot more things. So I'm definitely looking forward to all the releases with London coming out, and especially the newer album, and hopefully going into some segue, since you're going to be part of Rock Harvest. Do you think we'll have some new surprise tracks that you could play at Rock Harvest?
Yes, we are going to, as a matter of fact. We are going to at least have the minimum between 3 and 4 new tracks at Rock Harvest. So at this point, anything can happen between now and Rock Harvest. We might have, 8 songs by then. And but what we'll do with something like that is depending on our set and all that, we'll mix it up. You know what I mean? We'll bring in some of the new material, some of the classic London, songs like Russian Winter, The Wall, songs that people really do remember from the metal years, Breakout. And then, of course, we have some new ones that we haven't recorded that we have ready to go. That's amazing songs. It's just we need to finish this live and get into manufacturing. The deal is with this is that we are manufacturing not only CDs, but we're also doing vinyl. So,
awesome.
And it's on both records. You know what I mean? And we're using good grade vinyl. We're not going to stinge out on quality. And that's always been my motto. And by the time we hit Rock Harvest, we should be explosive by then. We're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're excited to have you come up and play, the second, Rock Harvest. With that being said, how did that whole thing come about?
Well, I had seen some stuff on Facebook on the first one, but I had no idea what it was all about. I think by the time I found out, it was a bit too late, I think, for even us to be, trying to knock on that door. So I believe that Elena was the one that approached that directly, because I had no idea how to reach anyone on that Rock Harvest. I just knew that a few friends were involved, I believe. Wasn't Mandy in that one last year? Yeah,
Mandy Line was there.
Yeah, Mandy's a good friend. I saw that, and I saw the picture, but I wasn't aware of it until Elena really brought it up to life for me.
Well, this year it's definitely become a lot more well-rounded. Last year was one day, and and there was a huge storm, that leveled, some of the East Coast, so it hindered a lot of things. And from one day to now three days, and it's a monstrous, power metal, thrash metal, hair metal, sleaze metal, all types of hard rock bands are on this bill. And Saturday, where you guys are slated as I think you guys are slated on Saturday, it's an all-star studded cast, from top to bottom with you guys, Leatherwolf, Hurricane, Tango Down. I mean, we can go down the list. So it's going to be an amazing experience, and we're glad that you're definitely part of it, because we want bands that. Oh no, it's we want bands that want to come out and play because of the the cause too. Everybody thinks, oh, it's just another festival and everything else, but it is connected to fallenblue.org, which is obviously goes to helping families out with police officers that get killed in the line of duty and so on and so forth. So it's a good charity and benefit event too, and awesome publicity for bands that want to become part of it.
Sure, and we're always open for any kind of charity, by the way. We are involved in charity, and we try to be part of the legitimacy of charities, and I know that yours is one. And whatever we can do, we're always open for it. You know what I mean? We're definitely been doing it since the early '80s with Children of the Night and Ronnie James Dio organization, and a lot of the AIDS organizations back in the day, even with Tony Danza and all these people. So we love, being part of anything that's going to, not only give us good press, but help a cause.
Yeah, it's funny, AJ Pearl last year from Twisted Sister, he's like, yeah, it's funny, I spent most of my career running from the police. Now, the last couple of years, I'm doing my part to help them out. So it's getting rock stars involved. Yeah, get rock stars
good
involved.
Good karma, baby. Good karma.
That's really funny. So it was everybody, I think, did that chuckle. And, we always ask when we do an interview, for anybody that we're doing it with, if they have any good, police officer stories. So I'll ask you the same question, considering you had your heyday. So just a good one. I know there's plenty of funny ones in there, but you can add the funny one too.
Well, good one in which ways? I got a lot of good ones.
Whatever one you want to put out there, you can put it in the comedic sense.
I think that the funniest one, oh my God, you know what? It wasn't funny because I had two run-ins, and one's in the movie, in the Metal Years movie, and the other one was, I believe it was it was FBI though. It wasn't police. Does it have to be police or can it be FBI?
It can be whatever you want.
Well, we were basically in Arizona, and we were playing at a club called the Mason Jar. We had parked, come from Los Angeles, parked the bus right next to the venue, and we went inside and we were doing sound check. And it's a really small venue. It's a small bar, low ceilings, maybe 200 of that, 150 people. But we had a big, Eagle coach on the side. So we're sitting there, just kind of kicking back on sound check, and some guy runs in and he goes, "Hey, listen, you guys got any T-shirts for sale, band T-shirts and stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we sell him a T-shirt, and it said "Depriest" on it. It's basically the same logo as the London logo, but it said "Depriest" on it. So he takes it and he leaves. He pays cash and stuff, and he bolts out. And I think about like an hour later, we're at sound check, and all of a sudden, all these tinted glass cars and helicopters pull into the venue and surround the venue, and they had like machine guns in their hands, and very like short nosed AK kind of shit, but with Uzis, and I'm like, what the fuck? Then they're going, all right, we're looking for a guy named and you got your road crew, your oh, wait a minute, Larry Moran was there. He was he was in the bus.
6 degrees of separation.
All right, well, he was in the bus too, by the way. He can vouch for this story. Well, anyway, so they show up and they surround the whole place, and they go, all right, we're looking for this guy named from this Depriest guy. And I tell you, there was no loyalty at that point. Everybody's fucking body was there. Everybody that was around my crew, my loyal guys, all of them pointing with their big ass arms, and they go, "There he is, right there."
Wow.
everybody pointed at me, you know what I mean? So they grabbed me, you know? And I'm like, what the fuck? What did I do? You know what I mean? They put me against the wall. They detained me. And mind you, I have this on video, by the way. It's really shoddy video, but I do have it on VHS, on a beta from back in the day, those big bulky VHS cameras, you know, where you can even hear the motor rotating as you're being filmed. So they grab me, and then they're going, where's the money? And I'm like, what money? He goes, yeah, where's the fucking money? We need you to give us that money. And I go, what money? He goes, the money you took. And I go, I didn't take any fucking money. I'm here doing sound check. What are you guys talking about? And it's very intimidating because they're everywhere, and they're dressed in suits, and they got guns, and you know, we're also, you know, really young, and we didn't know what the fuck was going on. And then finally, he pulls out a Polaroid, a black and white Polaroid, and he goes, where is this fucking guy? And that was the guy that came in to the tour bus to buy that T-shirt, and he's fucking holding up the bank, and he's got my shirt on, you know what I mean?
Oh, man.
So they had a Polaroid of him with a gun at the cashier, and it says clearly, "Debrief," right in the front. So that's just the law enforcement story. Finally, they figure it out that it wasn't me. We explain about, you know, how that happened, blah blah blah, and they went away as fast as they came in. They split. You know? I
don't think you have to worry about that at Rock Harvest. So I think you're good there. We'll have you covered there.
He was in the bus, by the way. He was in the bus.
All right. I think we'll give you a clear bill there, so you'll be fine. There'll be plenty of long-haired people, you know, so they can say it's that guy. We'll make sure we hand out a bunch of London and Sure.
Oh, I don't like to say I was a young stick boy back then. So yeah, that's a good story.
That's too funny. All right, so back to let's see, Larry Moran.
Yes.
And there's a big entity called Monsters of Rock Cruise, and I think you guys would be a great fit for that. Did you ever think about potentially getting on that ship, or, you know, would you play it if you were asked?
If I was asked to play, you know, I definitely would take it. You don't need to ask me twice. I mean, I definitely would do it because I've been wanting to do it. It just doesn't seem to, you know, come through. You know, it's just that, you know, I don't have the ends for all of that. So we try to get into shows, but you know, because it's been so long for the band, you know, I think it's harder to promoters to get a boner on you right away and all that. But you know, we'd definitely be into doing it. Yeah, definitely anytime.
Well, with Monsters of Rock, I mean, they bring a lot of bands. I mean, they brought Jailhouse out and a couple of other bands that haven't played in a very, very long time. So I think London's material is, you know, even their older stuff is a lot better, you know, than some bands that get to go out and play live. So, I mean, it's...
Well, thank you for saying that.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say thank you for saying that because we're a much better live band, to be honest with you.
And you can see that, you know, with some of the clips that I've seen, you know, and I'll get the privilege of seeing you live in November because I'll be traveling from Florida all the way up there. To be part of Rock Harvest. And, you know, it's I think with today's day and age, the music and the bands that were back in the day really knew how to put on a good live show. And I think with everything that's happening with the live album, the new song, the new album coming out, the social media buzz that you have, and all the interviews that you've been open to, I think we'll kind of open that door. And I definitely, you know, think that you should play Monsters of Rock Cruise, and whatever I can do to kind of promote that and get that out there and keep posting it. And, you know, the more posts that go out about you guys playing it, then, you know, maybe they'll take a listen.
That will be great, and I'm definitely open for it. Again, London is a really easy band to work with. We're not prima donnas, and we never, you know, take advantage of any situation. We're straight hardcore, fucking hard rock Hollywood Sunset players. So we don't play. You know, we've been played in many ways and games and all that, but we don't play games. We're serious, and you know, like you said, we're more mature. Things are different. You know, it's a whole different era now. So, you know, I think it's better now, and I think it's all timing, and it is time for us. You know.
You know, if you guys make it on, I'll definitely make sure that I'm on the ship. We've done the first one, and we're going on the second one as well. So, you know, I think you guys, that they need to bring a bunch of different bands. They had a few repeats from last year, which is good because it was so crazy with 3 days, and I think there was 25 or 27 bands, and it was just like constant. I mean, we managed to pull off seeing 15 of them, but this year there's an extra day, but I think there's 7 extra bands. So I think 2 have kind of fallen off. But, you know, going into next year to seeing what the lineup is and bringing some of the bands that deserve to play and what people have been asking for to get them on the ship, I think it'll be a great deal. So, you know,
we're ready. We're ready anytime, man. We'll be definitely, we can use all the support that we can, and we'd love to play that show.
Now, you have a good crew behind you, too, so they definitely have
Good to know.
The band London in their best interest as well. Now, going back to the older years, and this is a two-part question, what's your fondest memory of playing in the 80s, and what's your fondest memory playing recently?
My fondest memory of playing in the 80s was, I think, just being so young and so green and on these big stages and looking out and seeing, you know, John McEnroe watching your show, you know, or, you know, Jack Nicholson in front of your stage, you know, fucking smoking a joint, watching your show. A lot of that whole celebrity intermix that was going on at that time with the fans that are not, which is not happening anymore. I think that was probably one of my fondest memories, playing at the Troubadour and watching, you know, David Soul. I don't know if you remember him, David Soul from Starsky and Hutch, wearing a poncho and a Mexican hat, all drunk, watching your show. You know, just like it was just things that being stuck in an elevator with Don Adams from Maxwell Smart. You know what I mean? Agent 86, and just a lot of that really cool environment that Hollywood had at that time. I miss that because now it just seems like it's not the same Hollywood anymore, and it's not the same type of audiences that we had back then. But you know, it's still a lot of fun now. I mean, now what I like about it now, going to the second part of the question, is I like all the interaction, that the mixing of events and the social media and how easy it is to promote and access people to come to your shows, and you know, basically getting back together with London, you know, and making London part of the whole new globe of marketing and sound and packaging and everything that we well want, you know, deserve and look forward to putting out. So, you know, it's a I don't know if that covers any, you know, some of your question there, but yeah, you know, that's where I'm at with that.
You know, it covered some very good ground, and you know, I'm going back to the time period where, you know, you could intermingle, you could hang out, there was like great interaction, and you're right. Nowadays, there is none of that. I mean, I remember, and still some venues, you get there, you know, you're first in line, the band comes out, you meet them, you hang out, you get pictures, you do things like that. Nowadays, it's all corporate. Wait, did you pay for the VIP, the meet and greet? No, you can't do that, you know, and things like that. So it's kind of, you know, with the social media, there is that good element, and a lot of the bands, I think, are really starting to grasp it, but some of them kind of don't understand what it can do just of yet. But you're right, with the social media and the interaction and the promotion and things like that, you can definitely carry the message very, very far. So
definitely.
that is a good,
well,
good
I remembered, Lyle, you know, you remember the old days where you had to make your own flyers and go out, and I mean, I used to go out and stand in front of the Roxy and the Whiskey, hand out flyers. You know, people calling you names and calling you faggot and calling you long hair or something, or you know, and you would go out there and it was like it was like you against the whole world to get them to go fucking watch your show. I mean, that's basically how it was back in the day. It was such a big deal to do that, you know. And I think that interaction with people, it really is what I miss the most now, because I did that about 2 years ago. I went out there like an idiot with a young guitar player that I had playing with one of my other guys, and we stood outside the Key Club, believe it or not, like back when it was Gazzari's back in the day, and I started handing out flyers, and people were looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Why is he out here handing out fucking flyers? You know?
That is too funny. No, they don't do that anymore.
No, they don't do that. So I did it at the 40th anniversary Rainbow Bar and Grill party. The gig, that live show with the stage outside, we did that. I think we had some posters made, beautiful posters for the anniversary. I mean, those things went out of my hands like so quick. I couldn't believe it. People want that, but nobody's doing it. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing it. They think by texting them the fucking poster to their phone that's a big boner for people, and it's not. It's you.
It's not.
Actually, it's you handing them a fucking poster in their hand and go, here, check this out. You're gonna dig this. Take it. It's yours. They're like, what? Free? Fuck! I was handing out stickers, posters, and even shoving stickers on the trash cans everywhere I could. I mean, people don't do things anymore like that. People are just like all on the phone, and that's basically, there's no interaction. And I love the interaction with people, that looking at their eyes, how sincere they are, and what they really think about you, and the music, and even if they don't like it, at least you're right there, and you get to talk and interact instead of shooting message, and I don't know, it's just different now.
No, I agree, and you're going to like, going back to posters, with Rock Harvest 1 and 2, with the VIP people, they get this amazing poster. And it's not just posted on your regular poster material. Last year, it was like on a Kodak
film. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was really dynamic, and you get to sign in. I'm from old school. I like vinyl still.
Right.
I download my music. I can't stand it.
Right.
CDs or whatever it is, posters, pictures. I'll go to concerts and rip them off. If there's one, rip it off.
Sure. Right. I like that
like
too,
that.
And I don't care, if it's a band I like, I'll grab it even if it's on a post outside the street and it's a shitty little flyer, I'll take it because I'm that kind of a person. I collect stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I need to find a way to get a storage unit just for the stuff that I've collected over the year. I mean, obviously you probably have a lot more of abundance.
No. I don't have a storage unit. I have a small storage, but not like probably as big as yours.
No, my wife, she's like, you need a whole just house just so you can put your stuff on the walls.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. You do need your own man cave.
Yeah, that would be a plan, but
that'd be great, right? Like right in the back of the house where they can't get in. You got like some barbed wire, and this is your area, and nobody.
I don't know fly over that well.
That would be me. I would have barbed wire with a sign saying, "Do not pass this line."
Yeah, take a switch like an electric.
That would be for my children, though. That would be for my kids, so they don't go in there and screw myself up.
Just a little shock wire when they touch the doorknob, just a quick little, warning.
Yeah, definitely.
That again. That's too funny. That's too funny. All right, I know you're very busy too, so what I'm going to do is, we're towards the latter part of the interview. In closing, is there anything you want to add? Any concerts that are coming up, or just anything in general that you want to say?
Well, yeah, I want to invite everyone to come and check out the band London, and also please stop by and visit us at londontheband.net. We're also on Facebook, of course, which is very important to us right now. And we also got some shows coming up in Europe around July. We also have Rocklahoma with GNR and Korn, I believe. And there's so many bands on there. Wow, it's amazing. And we also, of course, have, Rock Harvest, which is, in November. So we are, out there. We're trying to get to the town near you. And, shoot us messages or anything, or suggestions we love to have him. And I want to thank you, Lyle, for definitely taking your time to interview me, and having London be part of a great event. And we're definitely looking forward to doing this for you, and hopefully it will be for more things to come.
So we'll post all those links too, and we'll make a nice slide we're going to post it on YouTube, we'll post this on Rock Harvest, we'll post this on fallonblue.org and everything else, and making sure that your links are relevant so people can check out the shows and the news and the updates and everything else. And Nadir, I want to say thank you for taking the time to hang with us.
Thank you very much.
It was an honor and it was an honor and a pleasure. And stay metal, what's forever in metal.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Thank you.